going to be a special one, but I want to go ahead and apologize that we haven't been posting. Things have been happening, so you can hear through our voice. Sick, work, so we haven't been able to, but we're back and we're better. So we're gonna go ahead and introduce ourselves from my left to your guys' right.
What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? We're back. It's Andres.
Jesus Christ.
What's up, Clueless fam? It's Anthony.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I'm Josh. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give myself one. Yes, sir. We got Jesus with us too. Y'all already know.
And you know it's Big Papi Paul. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And like I said, we're back, and we have a very special message today. A very strong one. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic to my boy Andres, and he's gonna go ahead and say what's good.
What's good? Alright, so
All of a sudden, I want to cut.
kind of like Josh mentioned, right? We haven't been here for a while due to allergies, being sick, and also one of the things too is spiritual warfare. It's been hitting huge. It's been hitting huge based on people that I've been speaking to. It's been attacking. It's been attacking a lot of people lately. Been talking to a lot of people of God. Children of God. So best believe the enemy knows who are the children of God, who have that passion for God. So definitely the enemy in the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, at least from my experience and from other people that I've heard, it's been strong. It's been, or not strong, but it's been hitting. It's been hitting.
That's strong.
It's strong. I definitely agree. Something about these last couple of weeks has been, it's definitely been a spiritual warfare. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Warfare. Me personally as well. Strong. And I've been talking to other people about this topic, and they were like, "Whoa, that one's gonna be good because, like, I've been going through some stuff and this and that, and I don't know. Like, it's just been. I guess God really wanted us to talk about this because,
Yeah.
the moment you brought up that topic, everybody was like, "Yo, spiritual warfare. Yeah, I'm going through it. I'm going through this, going through that. Next thing you know, us, and I don't know. I'm gonna love this one.
You know what's crazy with what you guys are saying, with the wave that's going on with the spiritual warfare is, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I personally have seen it where in the last few months, the last few weeks, like the young adults and like the youth, specifically like our church, I'm sorry, but like I don't know about other churches, I'm assuming so, but we've had this like sort of hunger for God and just like going at it. I feel, you know what I mean? Like more than ever, with doing so many different things, like outreaches or just being in touch with our Bible and praying and, community, hanging out with each other and like, spreading the word, like talking to God, doing stuff like that. So yeah, like to kind of touch base on what you guys are sort of going off on, like, I feel like we're in that sort of time frame where we're trying to get more in touch with God. And I feel like with that, comes, that the enemy's going to get upset and he's going to try to deviate us from that path, but don't let it, you know what I mean? Be strong. And then, sorry, a Bible verse that came to me as you guys were saying that was, Isaiah 41, where he says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And I just wanted to remind people as they're watching this, as we're talking about this, just remember, like, don't fear. God is with you always. I know everyone knows that, but sometimes it's hard to, I don't know, I guess sometimes it's hard to apply that when, you have overwhelming thoughts or you have strongholds that are maybe blocking that sort of positivity mindset that can sometimes, keep you aligned where you're like, just remind yourself, like, God is with me. God is with me. Like, nothing can touch you, like you're children of God, everyone,
That's amazing because you kind of just touched points on some stuff that we were talking about in the sense like, or did you want to say anything on your end? In the sense of like who to run to, but you're just like, during the spiritual warfare, you're just like, I don't want to say you don't want to run to God, but you're just like, there's a battle spiritually where you're just like, and
you want to throw in the towel sometimes. Like, I mean, I'm not, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
no,
that's what it is, and it sounds bad and it sounds wrong, but at the end of the day, like, we're human, right? Like, we act according to a lot of the ways that we're thinking.
Yeah.
You know, that's why our behavior mimics us. You know, if we're in the world, then our behavior mimics us, right? Because like whatever we're doing, that's what we portray. And then now that, you know, a lot of us are, you know, switching over to being more involved in like church and like God and stuff like that. You know, this is where that transformation starts to happen. You know, where like you're leaving the world and you're starting to get more spiritual, more in tune with what God has set for you and the plans that He has for you. And you have to adapt to this new lifestyle. So there's so many different things that like, you know, come with it. And that mental stronghold that starts attacking, you know, it starts eating at you. And sometimes you even get to the point where you're like, is any of this that I'm doing even worth it? Or like, what am I doing?
Bro, you're on it, bro. Like 100%. Because, I mean, it sounds bad like you said. But yeah, sometimes it's like you want to throw in the towel. And you just want to be like I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm done, you know, like it's very difficult to explain. And you just summed it up right there. Like you want to throw in the towel. But at the same time, in the back of your head, you're like, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't throw away this towel.
Yeah.
If I throw away this towel, there's nowhere else I can go. There's nothing else I can do. There's nothing this world's going to offer me. Like, I just can't. So that itself, too, puts you in a position where you're just like back against the wall, you know? Where you're just like, I'm tired. But then if I throw in the towel, it's just going to be nothing good. So you're just like, I don't know, you know, and you brought up something, and that's why I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into this question. It's a deep question. Go for it.
Hold on. Before you go more into it, I did kind of just want to also mention, you know, for those of you that don't know what spiritual warfare is.
Yes.
And you guys can elaborate more if you guys know more about it or of the definition. But before I give, you know, part of the definition that I want to give is, you know, spiritual warfare is definitely important to understand and know because, you know, yeah, we talk about when following Jesus, you know, the joy, the peace you find in Jesus and everything. But we also have to talk about how it's not easy. It's not easy following Jesus. Pastor Steve mentioned it on Sunday, right? It comes with the price you pay, right? You have to sacrifice. You die each day to yourselves and to your flesh. So it's not all, you know, sunshine and rainbows when it's following Jesus, you know, but it's definitely the most fulfilling. And in regards to kind of like a small definition, kind of like the Apostle Paul had mentioned in the Bible, spiritual warfare is what it is, spiritual, right? Yeah. It's a battle of spirituality against evil forces, against the enemy. You know, it's not a physical battle, but it is a spiritual battle that on a daily basis you can be having it, bro. And, you know, it's just something huge.
No, 100%. And the thing with spiritual battle too, is the enemy will always use, majority of the time, will always use what you're weakest at or what he knows. And it's and I'm not saying this because I give no power to the devil right now with me saying that, right? Because I belong to Christ and he's watching over me, watching over all of us.
You're opening up my question right now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because, you know, we obviously there's power in the tongue and what we, you know, we confess out loud and stuff like that, or what we say out loud. So in no way, shape, or form am I giving power with me saying this to the enemy, but that does happen, right? Like the enemy does come and attack you either at your weakest moments or he knows exactly where you're vulnerable. For a lot of people, it's mental strongholds, it's finances, it's, you know, it could even be your family, right? Where sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong, anyone could jump in on this, but do you ever feel too, like when you're going through spiritual warfare, like, man, you feel the walk with God is already like you already feel alone because you know what I mean, like we
were just saying that
you're
like
going,
you start feeling like alone, you start feeling like God,
it deepens you even more than like walking alone because the walk with God already starts to, you know, change you, starts to change your behavior, you start to stop hanging out with people, not because, you know, they're bad people or anything like that. You know, like I said, we're all here to you know, spread the love of God and the peace and stuff like that, but you know, like you know, when you start taking this serious, you're like, okay, like I you know, I can't stop going out, or I got to stop going out to these parties or these things. Sometimes even if it's like family parties, you know what I mean? Like it sucks, but it's a lonely road. And then when these spiritual warfares come and it starts to get like, you know, 100 times harder, dude, you just deepen into like almost this like anxiety, depression type mood, and it sucks. And the hardest part is being able to explain it to somebody, because sometimes what I might be going through made something that he, you know what I mean, like he's never experienced, and he doesn't know what I'm talking about. He knows about spiritual warfare, but he doesn't know exactly how I feel. And that's to me, that's always been like the most intriguing part, is like, God, how bad does this individual feel right now? Because I can't feel what he's feeling.
Yeah. I definitely have to agree with you on the whole like alone part, especially me when I was going through the spiritual warfare these couple weeks. I was feeling like, or I was just like, God, where are you? You know what I'm saying? I was like, God, where are you? But the crazy thing is, like, I know how to go to him. I know how to summon him. I know how to go into my alone spot and see him and talk to him and have a relationship. I know how to get there. But yeah, I'm still saying, God, where are you? You know what I'm saying? It's a battle that's spiritually strong, that's like blinding you, for lack of better words. It's putting a cover over you in Jesus, and it's just like, where are you, God? You know where to go. You know how to do it. You know what spot to go and get away from all this. But yet you still don't do it because you're just like, there's just something that you feel so alone. And it's strong. I personally feel like spiritual warfare is an attack, like you said, spiritually. And it attacks your faith. Not faith as in believe, but faith as in like, you know, you have hopes and you have dreams. You have promises that God, probably some of you guys already spoke to. If you guys have seen any of our prior, you've already created something and a plan and with God, and you start questioning those things. You start doubting those things. You start like doubt wants to come in. To me personally, spiritual warfare is something that wants to like kind of take you away from your faith and start doubting, like, really though, like, just like little things, and then you're just fighting with your head, like, no, God is good, but I'm still feeling like this, God, like, why, you know, like, alone. So
how Josh just, and this is me, I'm gonna ask you guys, but am I wrong for thinking this way? I was thinking about this last time. I was going through my own battle, and I had a moment of, like Josh just meant, I was like, God, where are you? Like, God, like, come on, you say, like, it's in your word. What's happening? Bro. What's going on? Like, you know, so frustrated to the point where you're like, God, like, what am I doing? You know, like I know that there's power in his name and in the Holy One. Like, why aren't things changing? But then I stopped, and I'm like, I thought to myself, and I'm like, all right, like, I feel this way, but I'm like, could it also be that me going through this is also challenging me? No. Like, hold on, challenging me to see if I'm going to continue my walk and staying in what you said, just faith and just being like, no, because old me would have been like, I give up. I'm going to go back to what I was doing. You know what I mean? Like that, taking the easy. Does that make sense? Like taking the easy road. Yeah. So I'm not saying I did that. I'm just saying like I thought of it like that, and I'm like, wait, am I wrong for thinking that? Like, is this no? Is this some? You know what I mean? Like a challenge? No, because it's like I said, it's a spiritual warfare where you're bumping heads with your, let's call it your brain, your soul. You're bumping heads. You know, your spirit, like I said, knows everything there is to know about God. Your spirit is like, no, like, yes, God. But then your soul saying otherwise. So you're going at a war. You're bumping heads. And you're like, God, where are you? Because I felt the same way where I was like, God, where are you? And like I said, I knew where to go, but I just wasn't doing it. I was like, God, where are you? And then elaborate on what do you mean by like you knew, but you like didn't know where to go? I know where to go in my head to have that encounter with God. That encounter that everyone looks for at church, we're like, oh, you know, that encounter that everyone's looking for. Yeah. I know how to bring that in my own room. I know how to bring that in my shower. Oh, so I know how to bring it in my car. But during that moment, you weren't know how to bring that in there, like really strong and powerful. Yeah. Okay. But I typically like ignore it when I'm going through the spiritual warfare. I see. And it's I'm being blinded. Yeah. And you start feeling more alone. The question is, what happens after? A lot of people, that's why one of my questions for you guys was going to be, whose fault is this? Is it ours? Is it Jesus? Or is it the devil's? Because what plays next is very dangerous, because I know a lot of people be like, oh, I'm going through this so God can make me stronger. It's like, no. I've come to realize, bro, when I'm in my situations like that, I come to God and I'm like, God, this isn't you. I know you're here. I've betrayed you. I told God, I've betrayed you. Mm-hmm. I ran away from you. Take my life. It was me. Yeah. It's like, I betrayed you. Take my life. Yeah. No, it was like, I betrayed you, God. It was me. This isn't you. This isn't you testing me. It was me. I caused this because of my sins, because of my iniquities. I caused this where I feel alone.
but I know you're here, God. And and that's when I'm like, take this away. Take me. And I start going back into that spot where I'm telling you, and then everything starts to change. So that's why I want to ask you guys, do you guys think it's our fault, the enemy's fault, or God's fault? Because saying that God is letting this, or God's doing this to make me stronger, that's implying that God gave that to you. That's implying that God gave it to you. And, you know, that opens up a hole, and you hear that a lot. So what do you guys think? Because like I said, hold up one second. Because like I said, this is spiritual warfare.
As an inside joke.
I'll answer I'll answer my question a little bit real quick, because like I said, I feel it's my fault. When I go through situations like this, it's my fault. It's always my fault. It is never my God's fault. My God is always there.
Elaborate on what you mean it's your fault.
It's my fault. Like, say for example,
like you did something right before
or
it starts happening.
Say I don't read the Bible no more, and I'm over here thinking bad about people. Right? I'm driving and I'm cursing people out. I myself am causing this distress, this separation. I'm causing it myself. And then I want to come and be like, God, God's testing me. God's making me feel alone. So that way,
the lack of your walk,
yes,
will sometimes push you to the side.
Yes, because it says God, you cannot test God with evil. God cannot be tested like that, and He will not test you like that.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So this is our fault. That's what I think. That's what I know. I want to hear you guys' opinion, because this is a spiritual warfare. Sometimes it's not even the enemy that's doing anything. It's our own thoughts, because it says in 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil is a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom may devour. Some of it says like hiding and waiting for you to be devoured. The enemy sometimes is just hiding. He's not even nowhere near you. He's at a distance, just looking, waiting for your mind, waiting for yourself to attack yourself. And as soon as that happens, that's when he comes in and he starts destroying all this stuff. Because it doesn't say the enemy is right there next to you like a roaring lion. No. He says he's lurking like a prey. What happens in the wilderness? A lion is always lurking, and he's waiting for the weakest one, the one that is limping, the one that's a baby, the one that's not fully there, you know, and in the spiritual world, the one that's not spiritually strong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
it's something that we bring upon ourselves, and we end up separating ourselves from God. And that's how I feel, bro. Like I've...
What do you think, Sal? Paul?
Excuse my cough.
You think it's us, or you think it's...
I think it's us. It's our own fault.
I 100% agree. I think it's us. Definitely us. Especially like I mentioned, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I went through it strong, like bad. And now that you know, I feel like every day we go through spiritual warfare. Some days heavier than other days. Now that I'm in a more calm, you know, situation, got delivered and everything, I can definitely say, based on my own experience, it's definitely us. Kind of like you mentioned, right? Falling into sin. God's always there waiting for us. God's always there, you know, just waiting for us to submit to Him, right? Which I have this verse, James 4:7. Submit yourselves then to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you, right? So the enemy's always gonna be there, bro. Also trying to, you know, like you said, lurking and trying to go for your weaknesses and everything. On the other side, God is always there too. God is always there, just kind of like just waiting for you to be like, hey, I'm the one who's going to strengthen you. I'm the one who's going to get you out of this. Just reach out to me. I'm here for you. But at those times, bro, it's like you said, we get in those moments where we feel like, God, where are you? Literally not seeing that He's right in front of us, you know, but we're like, God, where are you? And so then we try to take things into our own hands. We trust ourselves, right? And so that's when we fell. And so we go heavy, bro. We go back to our old ways.
Yeah.
Of giving up.
Bro, that's happened to me, bro.
You know what I've been saying lately?
But see,
what I've been saying lately is, God, where am I?
That's good.
Because if He's always with you, I'm not gonna ever tell Him.
That's what I was asking.
Where are you? Is where am I?
Correct.
That's why I wasn't.
I feel lost. He's never lost.
No, He's never lost.
God's always there with you.
That's good, bro.
That's
So
a
it's
good
like-
point.
That's
So
a good point.
lately, bro.
Oh, that's so
I've been
good,
going
bro.
I've been going through my own thing, bro. Like hard.
Yep.
And I don't know.
Well, he gets his. I feel you, bro. I feel you, bro. Because right now, when you guys were talking about it, bro, I got emotional, bro. I got emotional of the whole spiritual warfare to the point where, bro, it got to the point where my thoughts, not even me, bro, my thoughts were like, God, like, where are you? Like, have you forsaken me? And also, like, God,
just you saying that word right now, bro, it's already making me like.
yeah, like,
I think the Holy Spirit. Sorry,
have you forsaken me? God, like, I got to the point, bro, where my thoughts were doubting God, bro. I quickly would rebuke those thoughts, bro, in the name of Jesus. But just talking about it, bro, it got me so vulnerable. Like maybe a couple minutes ago when you guys were talking about it.
Yeah.
Because, bro, spiritual warfare, bro.
Spiritual warfare is very powerful. Like, I think we were all feeling like that, bro. And I was just like, I don't have too many people to go to when something like that happens, you know, especially being a man. I don't have too many people to go to. I go to my mom, but even then, there's certain things that I don't say. And I was going through it, and I went back to the military, and then I was outside, right? You good? You want some tissues? I was outside, and I was like, I can't, God, no. I told him, dude, like, I'm gonna be straight up with y'all right now. What happened? I was like, I can't no more, God. I told him. And the crazy thing is, bro, like, things haven't been going as hard as I've heard for other people, you know, like my mom and stuff, like the tribulations that they've gone through. And I'm just like, God, I can't no more. I told him. And I was like, I need you. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Like, I have questions, God. Me. Especially, and it's not to brag, you know what I'm saying? It's not to elevate myself, but God has put me in a standard. He's put me in a position that I'm proud to be in, you know what I'm saying? That not many people can say they're in. And I was like, God, why is this happening to me? You know what I'm saying? And I was out there and I was looking at this. I was looking at the sky and then I was like, God. And it's almost like he said, do you want me to pass this to like someone else? This gift and stuff? Because sometimes you can ask God to shut down your gift, to be like, hey, like, shut it down for me. But then there could be someone that can take it, you know what I'm saying? I was like, no, God, I'll keep it. But bro, when I was telling you I was getting so emotional, and my heart was hurting, and I don't even have my words right now, bro. And I was looking at the sky, and I saw the clouds, and I envisioned God just walking out of the clouds, and just like, I'm always here. And I was talking to him like a genuine conversation where I was like, I know you're always here. But
see, that's where my question was. Maybe I asked it in a bad way, but that's where my question was when I asked you earlier. Is it bad for me to see it like a challenge way? Because that's how I saw it. Like, I had a moment of I looked up to the stars and I was looking up, you know, in a moment of just pure weakness, and I was just like, God, like, do I matter? Am I anything to you? Do you even care for me? Like, you know, type everyone here. Let's be real. Let's be real, right? Like, everyone here has thought that at some point. Can't speak for everybody, but I know, you know, majority of people have been like, God, where are you? Like, who am I to you? Like, do I matter to you? And that's what I meant by, in that moment when I said that, and I was having that you know, that moment of reflection. I was like, okay, that's what I meant with the question where it was like a challenge where I took it like that, but in true reality, what tends to happen when people get to that point? People give up, right? Mm-hmm. And people revert back to their old ways because it's easy. It's easy to just be like, and you know what bothers me most, and I've kind of learned this as I'm, you know, sort of, we're quick to blame God for the things that sometimes aren't even being sent, like anything from him. Why do a lot of people reflect like, God, why are you letting this happen to me? You know what I mean? But it's like, God didn't let that happen to you. Just be like, God, why is the enemy choosing to attack me right now? Put the blame on the enemy. Don't just always, because does that make sense? Like, I feel like sometimes, I feel like sometimes without people trying to put the blame on God on like why things are happening wrong to you, you're kind of doing it in a sense of like again, not in a sense like a purposeful sense where you're telling him like, you're doing this to me. Like, it's not so much that, but it's just like, I feel like sometimes, and like I said, I'm giving my own personal story. In that situation where I was reflecting a lot, I was like, okay, what would old me do? I would throw in a towel and I would go back to my old ways. But also in that same moment, I also thought, I'm like, why am I always saying, God, why are you letting this happen to me? It's kind of like what he said, like, right? What he said earlier. What'd you say again, Paul? You said, where am I? Yeah, where am I? So I was just like, sometimes no, like let me rephrase what I'm saying.
I'm glad you just said that, bro.
Because it's not coming from God. What's happening to you is not coming. God is not allowing that to happen. The enemy chose you for whatever that moment was or whatever situation you're going through. To go back to the question that you asked, is it us or is it the enemy? It is us. It's us. It's us giving the enemy power, because the enemy is choosing to attack you at the, I don't want to say the right time, because only God has the right time, but the enemy is choosing to attack you at a certain time. Rather, he knows that you're going to be vulnerable. Rather, he knows you're deepening your walk with God, and he's going to try to do everything he can to veer you off that walk. Rather, you're affecting people, or rather you're affecting your family, or rather you're affecting yourself. So just remember that. And that, I took away from that. So
I love what you said, because falling back, like what I said, it is our fault. And the moment, like what he just said, he just unlocked a secret that a lot of you should use. When you start actually being vulnerable to God, I'm not talking about like you're on your knees. I'm talking about vulnerable to the point where you're admitting where it's like, no, this is my fault. Where am I? When you start saying stuff like that, it opens up, for lack of better words, I don't want to use this word, but for lack of better words, it opens up a portal that's so strong. I've had it so many times, bro, where I'm there and God is just like, and I lean back to my studies. I lean back on God and he's just like, oh, son. Dude, when I hear that, I break down. Yeah. When I hear that, when he's just there and he's like, oh, son. If only you knew. Like, I've had it, bro. Like, when I'm out there, bro, and like when I was in mid, I hear it, bro, when he's like, oh, son, if only you knew that I'm here. Yeah. If only you knew what I have in store for you. If only you. The crazy thing is, though, while he's saying that, he is showing me what he's already shown me in the past. Mm-hmm. Well, he's already shown me what's mine. And he's like, if only you knew, son. And that's why, dude, like, it's hard because I'm getting emotional now. But, and I never do. So, back up. And he's like, if only you knew. And he's showing me. And that's why I said that it attacks your faith. Because you're just like, I know, God, I know that you have that for me. I just wish I can see it in the flesh already. I just wish I can hold it in my hands, And I'm leaning on you. And I know that it's mine. And the enemy starts to throw doubts. And you're just like, oh, God. And he just tells you, oh, man, like I'm here. Every step of the way, I have not left you. I've seen your iniquities. I've seen what you've done, but I see past that. And then you just start breaking, and you throw in the towel, but you throw in the towel with your sin, and you're just like, God, like, just take it. Where you're just take it, God. Take it all. Take all my sins. And in that moment, you just feel so relieved, so fresh. I don't know, man. It's a very powerful thing, and this spiritual warfare is real. But extremely real, bro. It's crazy how the enemy allows you to think all the bad stuff, and it allows, like, you start believing all this other stuff, and little by little you start believing a little bit less of God, without you even noticing. But then there comes a moment where you catch it, and you're just like, oh, what has happened? I've deviated. Like, what has happened? I've read my Bible less. Why? Like, and you're just like, how can I allow this to happen? And you're just like, you come back and you do it again, and you go back to the Bible and everything.
Yeah. Just a Bible verse came to my mind, Ephesians 6. It says, in addition to all this, take up the shield of faith with which you can extinguish all the flaming arrows of the evil one. So I feel like what we were sort of touching on, you know, how the enemy will come at you in so many different ways. You know, it says here, take up your shield of faith. So just remember, just keep that faith. And what's the saying? The mustard seed.
You just need a little. Like if you had faith as small as mustard seed,
you can move mountains. And that's something that's, you know, I've used that to help me. You know, through my hard times. It's just I remember I'm like, I just need a little bit of faith. You know, rather it's just like, God, I'm still here. God, I'm still here. You know, like, help me. I'm still here. You know, what can I do that I'm not already doing to be better in your eyes, right? Sometimes it's like being an athlete, right? What do athletes do? They watch tape, they watch film on themselves and other teams. So I try to remember that. I'm like, all right, like game day, you know, you're going through it or whatever. I'm like, all right, let me self-reflect on. And I know I'm kind of changing the topic a little bit, but let me self-reflect a little bit on like, what am I doing right now? Am I not giving enough? Am I not reading enough? Am I not praying enough? You know, have I allowed, you know, some sort of moment today where, you know, where I gave, I opened up a door for something to come in, and I just try to self-reflect a lot, like, and.
I wanted to say something, and this is going to be a secret that I'm going to allow. That's why it's always important to educate yourself in the Bible and the Word and actually find these little secrets, because that's why I said when you lean on your studies, when you lean on what you learn, God is everywhere, y'all. And every little thing. I don't mean spiritually, brother. It's like, I mean physically. When you go outside and you start looking at the trees and you start going back to your studies. When I was out there, I was looking at the clouds, brother. The clouds were out. And there was a hole and there was like a light. So beautiful. I believe it's in Nahum 113 in King James. Let me see. Where it talks about the cloud or the dust of his feet. Listen to it very carefully, brother. This is because I'm about to give you guys a secret.
Say that again?
I'm throwing a pearl where it says the clouds are the dust of his feet where he walks.
I don't get that, I'll be honest.
The clouds, when you see clouds, those are his footprints. The dust of his footprints.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Where he was walking. There's times where it's super covered in Oxnard and not in Ventura. Yep. There's times where it's super covered in Ventura and not in Oxnard. And I was looking at the clouds and I was like, God, look at all these clouds. God was walking here. And there's not that many anywhere else. And I'm just like, God was walking here. And I look at the clouds. When you lean on stuff like that, when you lean on your knowledge that you know, you're just like, I know you're here. It says in your word that you were walking here. You passed by me. You know what I'm saying? Your presence was here and it still is here. And you start looking at that during those times, even though you don't believe, even though you're weak, whatever you want to call it, during those times, you just lean back on the studies and you're just like it just forces you to believe. It forces you to have an intimacy level without even saying anything. You're just looking at the clouds and you're just like, wow. You know, lean back on your studies. Lean back on the word. Study it. That way, when your time and your vulnerability, it just clicks to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's I heard this week. Or I saw it somewhere. It said reading your Bible is having a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah, double-edged sword at your grasp, at your hand. Meaning that, like what we're saying, right? Like me, I'm using the mustard seed. You know, to even if it's just this small, I'm like, okay, if this small of a seed can move mountains, I just need this much faith to get me through right now, or I just need this much faith to get me through today. Yeah. I'll worry about tomorrow, right? And same with Josh, him quoting the clouds and it being, you know, God's steps and him looking up, you know, that carried him on that in that moment or in that day. So it's little things like that what Josh is touching on, where you can go back on things you've read, things you've seen, and this is why it's so important. Again, touching on what he just said, to stay involved, or stay up to date with, like, you know, reading your Bible or being in community, you know, amongst people that can uplift you and uplift your faith. Because there's going to be moments of weakness that, you know, we all experience and we're all going to have. And it's in moments like that you either need to have people that will, uplift your faith, uplift you, your heart, your mind, whatever it is. And then also, you can reflect back on quotes and Bible verses and things that you've seen that can, motivate you or help you get through whatever's going on.
Sometimes it breaks my heart, bro. Because I'm going to be real with y'all right now, man. It breaks my heart because some people are taught wrong. That's why I wanted that question, whose fault is it? Because a lot of people go and say, God, let this happen so I can get stronger. Sometimes I hear that and I'm like, oh, if only you knew. The same way God talks to them, like, if only you knew. And people are taught this every single time. And it says the truth will set you free. And the more you say that, that is not the truth. Therefore, you're not free. You feel free. You think you're free. But in reality, you're not. And it just keeps happening and happening and happening again. More consecutively. And it breaks my heart, bro. It breaks my heart so much where I'm just like.
Do you think it could be a challenge? Not a challenge. I don't want to say challenge. Challenge is a bad word. But do you think moments of sometimes waiting could be coming from God, though?
Moments of waiting?
Yeah, like say for example, not going through something like a hard time, but
give me an example.
For example, I don't know.
No.
Do you know how like there's
something that I'm waiting for right now
where like God had made him wait to receive something or to get something.
There's something that I'm waiting for right now. I'll go ahead and give you a little secret. There's something that I'm waiting for right now, and it's still in the process. But I myself, with my mind, cut it off. I myself, with my mind, slow it down. Those promises, those things are on their way. And when you believe that they are coming, regardless of your mistakes, when you have faith that strong, they will get to you. But this is why I become more heartbroken, because it's myself. And I'm just like, dang, by this time I should have already. But people want to say God is letting this happen. But when you're honest to yourself, and it's like, this is me, it's my mind. I'm cutting this off with my own mind. I'm putting a stop to it. One day I'm like, I want this. But then the next I say, I want this. God doesn't work like that. You can't be, I want this water, but then the next day I want sparkling water. You can't do that. It's like you telling a waiter, can you bring me water? And he's coming, and then you tell the other person, oh, never mind, can you bring me sparkling water? Well, which one's going to get to you? Because now you're changing it up. It's my own mind that is slowing everything down. God wants to bless me. God wants to bless us. He wants to be there for us. It says he's a God of good thoughts, not of bad, not of this, So no, this is our own fault. This is our own mind slowing things down, because God is the God of the impossible. I've sat there, bro. I'm like, God, you're the God of the impossible. What's going on? You can give it to me tomorrow. Where I kind of want to throw the blame at him. To some people, it might not be blame, but to me, it is like, God, what happened? But then I start saying, like, no, this is my fault, God. This isn't you. This is me. Because I know who you are. You're not a God to be changing your mind. You're not a God like that. Like, this is me. I'm the one that's changing my mind. I'm the one that's making everything wait. There is a wait, yes. But in the aspect of you finding the secrets, like I've said in the past, when a lady's pregnant, she's not a mom yet. She's not considered a mom, but she knows she's pregnant. It's already there. She already sees herself as a mom. You still have to wait those 9 months. There's a process, but you already have it. You feel it. It's in there. And it's the same way. God shows you it. God gives it to you. And you're like, this is what I have. What he's shown me is like, this, I've shown it to you. I've seen it. And he takes me back. And he's like, listen, this is what I have for you. You're seeing it. But it's our own faith that doesn't want to believe it. And we're always like, oh, this, well, maybe that. We want to throw in our own excuse. We want to create our own God. Christianity has created their own God, a false God, a God of pain, a God of waiting, a God of tribulations and not seeing the glory. We've created this false God, and this is why nobody believes. And I've said that in my own park in the mornings. We've created a false God. When God is there and he wants to give us everything. It says in Psalms, he wants to give us the desires of our hearts. It says it plain in sight. But where is your heart? One day you want this, and the next day you want that. It can't be like that. You have to have faith, and you will see things happen. I've seen things happen quick, bro, and my faith was strong. But then when I start deviating, and I know I kind of changed the subject there, but that's one of them, bro. But back to the spiritual warfare, man. Dang, bro.
It's heavy, bro. Spiritual warfare is heavy, bro.
Why do you think we allow it to happen?
I don't think we allow it to happen. I think
I allow it to happen. I'll keep it a buck with you guys. I allow it to happen. I don't know about you guys. I feel it, bro. I feel it when my soul and my spirit are fighting. I feel it. And my flesh always wins. I feel it. I'm just like, ugh. I feel how I don't even want to do it, but yet I do it because my flesh wants to. Mm-hmm. I could feel the separation between my spirit and my body. I can feel it. Well, I don't want to. It's not even in my mood. Like, I don't want to. But yet I still do it because my flesh is winning. I always, I allow it. And I don't know, bro. Like, this war is something else.
It is, bro. And I feel like, I think it's because we are so connected with God and our relationship has gotten so strong that, the enemy knows that, and it just kind of like wants to like remove all of that. It just wants to take us away from God. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, bro, that's why it's so hard, right? To follow Jesus, because we have to, every single day, bro, we have to carry the cross, die to our flesh, die to ourselves every single day, bro. And it's so easy for the flesh to just be like, it's so much easier if you just do this.
Yes.
Just do that. Like, remember the pleasure you get from this. Remember what you get from this. It's so easy. All you have to do this. But with God, you have to let go of all of that. You have to let go of this. You have to let go of that. And it is worth it. It is worth it. But you do have to be strong, bro. You do have to be strong. That's why they say, following Jesus, it's not for the weak, bro. It's not for the weak. Yeah. It's not like how some people have mentioned, like, oh, well, you follow God. So if you have trouble or anything, it's so easy for you to just give it to God. And it's like, it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. During those moments of that warfare, bro, it's so tough. And it's like, you can be one of those people that believes in God so much, bro, like so much. But when that spiritual warfare comes, bro, it's those thoughts that go against God, that go against your belief, against your faith, that makes you doubt. And it's just so heavy, bro. It messes up your mood. Times when you're supposed to be praying and stuff like that, and you have to.
Yeah.
You start making excuses. No, I can't. Or for some reason, bro, extreme fatigue or whatever it is, worshiping, you're like, nah, I'm not gonna do it right now. Those things I used to do with that spark, you no longer have it. Why? Because the enemy's fighting, bro. The enemy is hitting you hard, and it's not an easy battle. It's not an easy battle, but I mean, Jesus led by example, bro. He led by example, that when he was tempted by the devil and everything, I mean, he could have easily given up too, bro. And he showed us that there is a way. There is a way. We have to submit fully to him.
I've conquered the world.
Yeah, bro. We have to do that. And so, if we just fully submit to him, bro, which is what I did through my experience, bro. What happened through my experience was like, at the end of the day, I just had to fully submit and understand that my faith was being tested, bro. And so you brought up Ephesians. That's definitely a strong one that's been, as of now, bro, now that I pulled out of that spiritual warfare battle, Jesus, God, bro, he gave us that victory. We have that victory, bro. We just have to, like I said, submit to God. So Ephesians, 6:10 to 17, it talks about how we battle spiritual warfare, right? We put on the full armor of God, so that we stand firm, against the schemes of the devil. It gave Paul, he gave us the instructions on how to defeat, spiritual warfare. And obviously, like I said, it's not as easy. It's just like, seeing it and then actually going with it. But he gave us the tools, he gives us tools, scripture, prayer, worship. All of that is the best way to defeat, spiritual warfare. It talks Ephesians 6:10 to 17, like I mentioned, talks about, putting the full armor, talks about the helmet, the sword, with the spirit, and then just praying. Praying. And, so now, bro, every single day, bro, I visualize it, bro. Right? We have to be childlike, right? That's what you always mention.
Yeah.
Childlike, bro. Every time I wake up in the morning, bro, I visualize myself. First thing I do is, put on the full armor of God. I pretend like, okay, I'm getting ready for war. you know, and it's war against the enemy. It's war against our own flesh. It's war against sin, right? We're preparing a battle against sin every single day, and so we put on the armor of God. I pretend I'm visualizing like I'm putting all of that so that I'm ready for war, and at the same time, I was gonna say, put on the full armor of God, and then pick up the cross. You know, pick up the cross daily, and make sure we carry it, and understand that there's gonna be days where that cross is gonna be heavy. Yeah. It's gonna be extremely heavy for us to carry it, but luckily, you know, thankfully, we have God. You know, we have Jesus, who every day, you know, he also carries his own cross, and whenever he sees us that our cross is heavy, he waits for us, and if he sees that it's still heavy for us, he picks up our cross, he picks us up as well, and he carries all of us together, bro. And that's where, you know, Philippians 4:13, right? We can do anything through Christ who strengthens us, right? So at the end of the day, bro, when we're in the middle of spiritual warfare, go through scripture, bro. Go through prayer, go through worship, talk to God, just submit yourself fully to him, and understand that he's going to get you out of it, bro. You know, just have faith, have that faith, bro, that even if you're going through the worst possible moment, God is still with us. He has not forsaken us. Even if we feel like it, he hasn't. He hasn't.
Just to remind everybody too that the weapons that we're talking about, 2 Corinthians, it says the weapons we fight with are not the weapons of the world. On the contrary, they have divine power to demolish strongholds. So just to, you know, throw in the reminder there, like those are the kind of weapons that we're talking about. You know, Bible verses, reading your Bible, staying in prayer, reminding yourself that, again, you know, like Andres just said, that every day you put on the armor of Christ and you carry your cross, and it's gonna be tough, but you have to do everything in your power to just remind yourself, you know, your purpose and what you want with this, what you want for yourself. Like, am I in this for the long run, or am I in this and another thing too, touch base, am I in this only when it's of benefit to me, or can I stand firm also in times when you know it's going to get hard and it's going to get rough? And
one thing,
and I've tried when I was younger, you know, I'm going to use myself as an example. Like when I was younger, I remember I used to, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Like I used to do that. Like I used to be, I'm all in it, blah, blah, blah. I was young. I didn't really know much. But I would do it when things were good and when I felt good, right? And then when things would get hard, I would just I'm like, nah, and rebel and like be angry and just be like, who are you? You don't care. Like, you know, just. Yeah. So I guess my point with what I was trying to throw at right now is just, you know, remain faithful even when times are hard. Because like, you know, everyone's mentioning here, there will come a time when things, you know, the table will turn, and whatever you're seeking, you know, whatever you're asking God for, it will come true for you. Maybe it might not come true in its full, and I feel like you might you might say something on this, but it might not come true in its entirety, like 100%, but it'll come true to where it's satisfying for your heart, right? Because I don't know. I also believe that, like, I don't know. Do you guys feel like God gives you
a no?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe God gives us a no. The only people that He said no to we got to remember that Christ died for us. When God sees us, He sees Christ. So you think the Father saying no to His own Son? He doesn't say no. If you go and you read, I believe it's in James. No, not in James. In John, He talks. God is a father, and He has a conversation with you. If you go and you read before you fed the 5,000, He told Philip, or I forgot which disciple, He told him, how are we going to get money to feed all these people? He didn't say no. He didn't say yeah. He was having a conversation with him. How are we going to? Sometimes God speaks to us like that. During these spiritual warfares, He speaks to all of us. Like I said, that's why it's our fault. He says, how are you going to get that girl? Now we're having a conversation with God. But then you start saying, this isn't the one He wanted from me. I think He wants something better. You just shut me down, son. Okay, so be it. We bring that upon ourselves. He has a conversation. He doesn't say no. Whoever invented that, show me in the Bible where he literally said, whoever invented that God's telling you no, that's not a good God. No. Oh, but sometimes the Father says no. He has a conversation with you. You know what I'm saying? That's contradicting itself. It says in the Bible, if you dwell on me, I will give you the desires of your heart. But then he's saying no. That doesn't make any sense. It contradicts itself. Us as Christians, that's why I say we created a false God. Because right there it's contradicting. That's why people don't believe. If you go talk to an atheist that knows the Bible or someone like a Muslim, he's going to hit you with these stuff. It's like, okay, well, why does it say it gives you the desires of your heart? But then you're saying that he says no. That's not giving you the desires of your heart. That contradicts itself. And anybody who wants to say that it's not a contradiction needs to go look up the word contradicting, because that is contradicting itself. God has a conversation with you. You say no. You created your own God and you shut the doors on your own promises, on your own beliefs. But God was there the whole time. Always. And I strongly believe that. And that's where the faith kicks in, where you're willing to believe that that's not my God that tells me no. You know what I'm saying? We've confused it. Now we're talking about something different, where you're trying to go inside a club and he's like, don't do it. Yeah. That's something different. Don't do it. Yeah, he doesn't tell you no. He says, don't do it. You get to make your own choices. We've confused it. He doesn't tell you no because you're not ready, because you're immature. You point to me in the Bible where somebody was ready to be what they were. None of them were ready to be anything. No one. No disciple. No this, no that. No one. No one was ready. Moses wasn't ready. Joseph wasn't ready. Nobody was ready. No. Yet God still used them. God still blessed them. God still did this. Mm-hmm. So whoever tells you that, it's like, oh, you're not mature yet. You're 20 years old. That's why you didn't get married. That's not. You could be 19 and get married, and God can still use you in tremendous ways. Look at what's his name? Solomon? Not Solomon. That prophet. What's his name? The one that was with David. Yeah, when he was a kid. Oh. When he was a kid. Solomon. No, it's the. Wow, I forgot. No, Solomon is the one that had the wisdom. It was a prophet. The prophet that was with Saul and David. When they were a little kid, he was like 12, I believe. Yeah. And God spoke to him and told him that he was going to use him. Was he ready? No. Why didn't God tell him no? You see, we've created a false God. God doesn't say no, which is a big thing of why these spiritual warfares become so heavy, become so hard, because we don't know what to do. We're confused. We think we know what to do, but in reality, we don't. Even I myself, and again, not to glorify myself, but even I myself at the level that God has put me, I myself still struggle because there are some secrets that I still don't know. And I'm just like, why? You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But life has been a lot easier and better. Me coming to the conclusion that is not of God. And when you start accepting that, you start feeling things being a little bit different. Like, this is not of God. You start telling yourself, this is not of God. This is not him. It says in the Bible, this is this. You know what I'm saying? He's not telling me no. He's not telling me not to go into that relationship. He's telling me be careful. He's telling me, is this what you want? Are you sure this is what you want? This is what will happen if you go with this one. I'm here to give you the desires of your heart. This is what will happen, son. Are you sure you want this? And then we start making the decisions. God doesn't say no, ladies and gentlemen. God doesn't say no. But if you tell that to a Christian, you're going to see, and we already deviated completely, but if you tell this to a Christian, I guarantee he's going to be like, oh yeah, well, what if you have desire to kill someone? Their mind is not going to be immature, spiritually immature. They're not going to be at a level to understand, because they're going to bring all these negative things. Well, he's not going to make you do, where you're going to deviate to somewhere else. He's not going to give you $1 million knowing you're going to deviate. It's like, I don't know where you heard that bull, but it's not of God. Because last time I checked, he gave them a king. He gave Israel a king when he was like, oh, I don't want to give you guys this because this is this. Yet they still asked for it and he gave it. But anyways, this, spiritual warfare is very difficult. Just going back to it. Spiritual warfare is very difficult. And like what you said, I'm glad you gave those pointers of like what you use and stuff. And I like for me, what has helped, bro, is it's just to have a conversation. And I mean, like sometimes speaking, it's almost like if I'm sitting outside and I'm just talking, I'm just like, God, like, what do I do, God? And then you start talking to yourself, you know what to do. That's God talking to you. Yeah. You start hearing your mouth, like you're like, what do I do, God? And then you start telling it, you know what to do, son. And you're just like, oh. Bro. And you have that conversation, you're like, I know, God, but I'm tired.
He says, no. You know what to do. He does say no.
He's like, you know what to do, son. And you're like, I know, God, but I'm tired. It's like, I know you are. You start having those thoughts in your head. Yeah. And that's literally God having a conversation with you. And you're like, I know you're tired, son. Yeah. I know you're tired. But the fight ain't over yet. Yeah. He's like, let me get you out of this. And you start, things. And you're just like, give it to me. Give me everything. Give it to me. Give me these burdens. And then you just start like, God, just take him. It's too much pain, God. Not too long ago, I was having a conversation. I was like, God, I told him, like, God, I'm hurt. I'm emotionally hurt. I told him, God, my heart hurts. I'm in pain. Not spiritually, but emotionally, I'm in pain, God, and I need your help. And that's when he comes in and
Bro, you brought such a good point with how God, during that moment of spiritual warfare, God says, you know what to do. Yeah. I love that because just to kind of like summarize my experience, bro, like I said, I went through those 2 weeks of like strong spiritual warfare, bro. Also personally, I went through some things in my own, experience, life, financial situations, physical, mental, a lot of things happening during those 2 weeks, bro. There was a lot of crying, bro, while I was talking to God, a lot of crying, a lot of like I said, doubtness of the faith and everything, until it got to the point, bro, where, I had that talk with God. After I had said, God, have you forsaken me? Next thing you know, I prayed for some things that happened, bro. And I didn't notice, God has never forsaken me. He's been here. And what I noticed, bro, the reason why I was falling so deep into that spiritual warfare was because I had opened up that door to go back to my sinful ways, to go back to those ways that made me feel safe, that pleasures and all of that. And I noticed, I'm not being obedient at all. I haven't been obedient. I need to be obedient so that I can be strong, so that I don't feel ashamed, so that I don't feel guilty, so that I don't feel any of this. And then from there, that's where it's going to spiral into now me going back to God. And so, bro, once I did that, bro, I had a deliverance, bro. I went through Psalm 51, a psalm of repentance, bro. Let me tell you, it was so strong. Fell to my knees, cried, bro. But afterwards, I felt so good, bro. And since then, bro, I can tell you that spiritual warfare, bro, it decreased. Yes, I was winning back victory after victory. And through my experience of that spiritual warfare, where it was so heavy and everything, to the point where I'm at now, bro, I like this Bible verse that I go, and it made me understand my experience with spiritual warfare, which is James 1, verses 2-3. Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And so, bro, once I understood it, you know what? At the end of the day, if I'm having spiritual warfare, bring it on. Like, it's because I have God. It's because I'm a child of God, and that means that the devil is trying to do whatever it takes to, take that relationship away. So now anytime I have spiritual warfare, bro, like I said, put on the armor of God. Let's go. I'm ready for battle.
One thing my mom told me.
It's funny that it's funny that you say that when you were saying. Do you guys know who Isaiah Saldivar is? Who? Isaiah Saldivar. He's like he's on YouTube. He's a pretty known like preacher and stuff, but he deals with spiritual deliverance and stuff like that. But I've always taken that from him where like he's like, oh yeah, like you want to come at me, devil? He's like, come at me. He's like, like you don't even know who I am. He's like, you don't know my God, like stuff. So when you saying that, I don't know. It came to mind. I was like, and I always wondered that. I'm like, man, like I was astonished. I'm like, dang, this guy is like crazy, you know, like he calls it out how it is. He's just like, you want some of me? Like, come on, like, let's go. Like, we'll go at it.
I used to do that.
And I used to get scared. Like, I remember when I would hear people saying that, I'm like, be careful, like, don't be scared. But I'm like, nah, like with you specifically saying what you just said and reading that Bible verse right now opened my eyes to it. I'm like, man, Isaiah, like the Isaiah Sadovar guy that I'm talking about, I'm like, he's so full of the Holy Spirit and he knows his place. He knows who God is in his heart. He knows who he belongs to. That there's like, this man is saying this with no fear. Like, he's just like, I'm out here. Like, what's up?
So I used to say that. And one thing about that though, I don't know if I should say this.
I should.
One thing about that is you really gotta dissect yourself and see where you're at with God, because saying those words, they are dangerous. Yeah. There are times where,
So what I'm saying is, this man is like his own, not saying like his platform as in like his media platform. I'm saying like his own platform with his faith is like crazy strong. I'm saying like this man's always praying, like he's always reading his Bible. He's very engaged. He's very engaged with like YouTube, and everything he does with YouTube is
it a white guy?
It's all Christian based. I think he's mixed.
Oh, because I see this one white guy, bro. That boy be out there just.
He was in the Domino movie that we just saw.
Oh, then I might know who he is.
Yeah.
But there's one dude that he be going wow, and it's like, bro, like that's amazing and it's crazy.
But people really live it, bro. People that, again, what Josh is saying, people that have that correct me if I'm wrong, strength, I guess to say that. Like they live by the Bible. Like it's just, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like that's awesome. Like I feel like all of us would, would love to be there. Unfortunately we have, 9 to 5s and we have to work and all this stuff. But people that can truly devote themselves to this, and just like this is their life, like, man, like that. Yeah. To get to that level it's just because there's levels to this, right? There's levels to everything you do. There's levels to sports. There's levels to your jobs. There's just levels, and it's crazy. Like to get to that level is just, it's not impossible, but it's just. There's a lot. Like he's saying, there's a lot. You gotta be careful because you gotta be powerful with what.
One thing I will say is into the spiritual warfare. One thing my mom always tells us. It's like be perseverant. It's like move forward, Melissa, because in times like this is because you're about to enter a new phase. Yeah. You're about to enter another level. You're about to enter somewhere more powerful, and the enemy is mad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You're about to enter into a different level. A lot of times that's what happens when spiritual warfare are coming at you strong. Now we have spiritual warfare throughout the day, but there are certain ones, bro, like I said, where you just feel sad. You feel alone. You feel like, man, I can't even explain it. You just feel forsaken. Yeah. Those are the times where like you're literally about to enter a new like a new tapa, a new realm. You're about to enter something even more powerful, something more juicy, and that's where like that's something my mom tells me, and I believe it strongly too. Where I'm just like, yeah, like he's about to literally move you to a different, something more spiritually stronger.
To clarify that, bro, like I said, when I say like I'm ready, if spiritual warfare, because I feel like you don't want to invite spiritual warfare, right? You don't want to invite it because the power, the tongue, has power and everything. Mm-hmm. It's mostly more of like, if spiritual warfare is going to come, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready because I have the armor of God. Rather than saying like, oh yeah, spiritual warfare, come at me, because you don't want that. But it's more of like, if it comes, I'm ready, I'm prepared, and I'm ready for it. So any of that, and so. So that's why I feel like I have the full armor of God. Like, I go back to Job, right? I go back to Job, and I just want God to be like, hey, like God talking of me this way of like, if the devil wants to like, let's say, tempt someone or anything like that, I want God to be able to be like, oh, you know what? This person, if you want to test him, go for it. I know he's going to stay faithful to me. Yeah. And that's the kind of faith that I want to have, and that's the faith that I've been able to now have. Through that that struggle, the spiritual warfare. Through all of this, bro, I finally have the fear of God, which I didn't have before, and I was always asking for it, bro. I was always asking for it, and I finally have it. And like I said, let me tell you, bro, once that spiritual warfare comes again, and maybe that's why I don't feel it as heavy anymore, because now that I'm God-fearing, now that I went through all of that, and I see it as in, like, you know, I'm ready. If it comes, I'm ready. I feel like that spiritual warfare doesn't hit as strong anymore. Hopefully that's what it is, bro, but that's been my...
Have you ever... something that I like to do during these times, or doing trials, or doing these spiritual warfares, I like to tell God, you said that in the midst of this, you will put a door.
Yeah.
That you will put an exit.
Yeah.
Dude, sometimes I'd be like, almost like if I'm on my knees, dude, I'm like, God, open that door. Where it's like, make it bright to where that's the only thing I see. Show me that exit where I'm like, I need to take this exit. Show me this exit. And then something that doesn't happen, bro. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Where like I keep my mind it deviates, you know, like I said, there's doubt. Yeah. And dude, and I'd be like that. And then sometimes I get out quick and I'm just like, okay, I'm out of here. Yeah. You know? But like it says, sin gives birth to sin. So, you know, I have these things, and then I sin, and that just makes it worse. Now I'm not reading my Bible. You know, it just makes it worse. Yeah. And sometimes it's so heavy now on me. This never used to happen, bro. It's so heavy on me. Like, I go on a walk, bro, because I go on a walk, and I'm listening to like music, and I'm just like God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I feel you, bro.
And
I feel you, bro.
But we're gonna have to cut it already, because we're already coming at an hour and 6. But I do want to say that if any of you guys are going through any spiritual warfare, check out this video, talk, get advice. You know what I'm saying? Listen to what we're saying, take some advice, because if God's doing it for us, He could do it for you. If He's opening that exit door, He could do it for you guys. And get with that conversation with God. You know, if you need someone to talk to, DM us, shoot us a message, whatever, and we'll get back to you. But spiritual warfare is very strong, yeah. It's something real. In the real world, people call it depression. People call it, like, you know, this type of stuff is spiritual. It's real.
Yeah, if you're having thoughts where you're like, you know, this isn't me, this doesn't feel normal, that's definitely some sort of, you know, spiritual thing kind of going on. And to anyone who, you know, lives here in our community, you know, feel free to, you know, New Life is our home church, so you guys are always welcome there. Doors are always open. Beautiful community. If you need prayer, like Josh said, you know, leave it in the comments. Send us a message, or just if, you know, New Life is maybe too far out of your way, try to visit a local church, a Christian church, you know, that can maybe pray for you and pray for what you're going through. And in this moment right now, I hope that, you know, God blesses everybody, and whatever you may be going through, that, you know, you're able to come out and see the light.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I say that in His holy name. So
I definitely agree. But make sure you guys like and subscribe. We're gonna be talking more. I know next week is gonna be a good one. We'll talk about leadership, and when. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But I'll leave you guys with God loves you, God cherishes you, God's always with you, and shalom.